Hey guys, it's Nova, and welcome back to Cupid. Last episode, we saw, the development of, Catherine's feelings for Galeem. I mean, it was kind of suggested in, I think the episode before that, back in episode 6 or 5. And, it was showing that, it did kind of seem like she was starting to feel, an attraction towards Galeem. The last episode really showed how conflicted she was feeling with with her feelings for him, between his past and then, the drama with Galeem and her sister, which is understandable. But then, she did feel that deep down she was falling for him. Not to mention the fact that they had known each other for so long, and that kind of thing does happen. And then the episode ended with a sound of a piece of, I don't know if it was a vase or something shattering, and her screaming, "You're lying." So I was very intrigued. I was actually going to, probably wasn't even going to record another episode for Cupid until the new year, but I was really, I wanted to see what was going on, and not to mention too, which I might be proven wrong in a short while, but with her outfit, is she pregnant? Like, I know that's kind of offensive to say for some people. Like, some women, get really offended if you ask them how far along they are, and they're not even pregnant. Like it's just the way the clothes fit them or something. And I know in that particular time period, certain dresses just looked really weird around the waist. But considering Galeem, like I know that's a mean thing to say, I'm wondering if, let's just see what the heck is going on. "You're lying. Lady Claudette saw you in Nîmes." Tears and snot ran down her face. She was holding a vintage 1610 bottle of wine. She gripped the neck of the bottle and flung it at the wall where Galeem was standing. Oh, okay, so that's what we heard shattering. Well, oh, okay. Okay. He ducked just in time to avoid the glass. "Cherie, don't you cherie me, you bastard. Can we not take it out on my wine collection again?" Catherine threw another bottle in response. "Stop, Catherine, you're going to hurt yourself." "Hurt myself? Like you care. You tell me you're off to Avion last weekend, but you're actually in Nîmes? Why are you making this into a huge deal?" "So I had to stop over in a neighboring town. It's a lie if you omit things." I don't know. It depends on the situation. Not necessarily. Like, again, I don't really want to seem like I'm rushing to his defense, but it doesn't necessarily mean the worst thing, I told you at the very start of this relationship, Galeem, I want 100% honesty from you. And I've told you as well. I have a reputation. Rumors follow me. Idle mouths can't help but chatter. Did you know that Lady Claudette once indecently proposed to me? Not surprising considering how she acted in the first 2 episodes. So yeah, I'm not surprised at that at all. Wow. She a hoe. She a hoe. And right in her husband's birthday gathering as well. Good Godfrey. So what? That is all besides the point. You know what they say, where there is smoke, there is fire. How about a name to further torch the bush? Okay, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. My French and my attempts at pronouncing French names and words are horrible. Well, I guess I do have to say this. Lanaine is the shop girl of the town, a nice girl. Or at least I surmised from all those 3 times I made the mistake to enter a shop, it looks like. Is there anything else you would like to insinuate? Oh, nothing at all, sire. Why? Is there anything I should know? Galeem sighed and tried to speak calmly. Cherie, I promised you when we got engaged, didn't I? Aw, so some time has passed and they're engaged now. I'm still wondering about that stomach, though. I'll be faithful to only you. There is no one else. But Catherine gritted her teeth. Again with this. You are more What does that even mean? You're more vague than a monkey's spit. Answer me straight right now, yes or no. Are you having an affair? Galeem threw his hands up in annoyance. Oh, you poor thing. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about you. I mean, as weird as it sounds, I still like him above Mother. Because Mother, she a piece of work. Merde, Catherine, I am not. I have already answered this. Why does it seem like you only hear what you want to hear? Oh my god. If that don't sound like my ex-boyfriend, I don't know. Who? Like right now, I feel like I'm having an outer body experience, and I'm watching me and my ex argue. Only I'm Galeem, and my ex is Catherine. Holy cow. I just want to understand everything and make it crystal clear. Is that so bad? Now explain to me what Lady Claudette, you're taking that bitter, conniving woman's words over mine? Yeah, for real. You even hated her in the first 2 episodes. Catherine, where is this coming from? Well, I try to get information from the source, but the source isn't very reliable. Wow. Galeem's shoulders slumped in an irritated surrender. She heard him curse under his breath. Well, I can't blame him. You know, it really sucks when you're trying to be cooperative and level-headed with your significant other, you know, especially in a matter like this, and they are constantly, like, looking for anything to fault you with. Like, I know, like, again, I do get where Catherine is coming from because he had a reputation in the past. So you know, maybe a small part of you will always be uneasy about, you know, when he goes traveling or he goes to visit friends or whatnot. But at the same time, you do have to try and have some trust. If you have no trust whatsoever in your partner, it's going to make for a very uneasy coexistence, you know? So I do feel where Galeem is coming from too, because again, I've been in that position before. Constantly accused of things that simply weren't happening, and it's like no matter what you would say or do to try and calm the other person down or assure them that everything is alright, and they just didn't want to hear it. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I am tired of this cat. This is a waste of time. What is the point of this if we keep going around in I hear you, man. I hear you. Catherine snuffled, wiping her nose savagely with her hand. You always do this. Oh my god. This is so familiar to me. You go off on a tangent and pick things apart. You don't even listen to... Galeem, you're making me like you again, and I don't know if I should. You don't even listen to my side at all. Could you stop acting like a child for 1 minute? Maybe then we can have a real conversation. Holy shit. Catherine, see, when you say stuff like this, then you're closing off any roads for communication. Yeah, again, I do get what you're saying. And I just finished saying that, you know, you are going to be a little uneasy when you're dealing with somebody who has a reputation or a past. But you do have to try to at least hear their side of it, because you'd be surprised. Stranger things have happened. It's almost like the boy who cried wolf. He kept crying wolf all those times to the point where nobody believed him. Then when the wolf came that one time, nobody was willing to believe him. Although, I don't know. I'm not really feeling Catherine right here in this scene because, again, I've been in this experience before, and unfortunately, I am kind of favoring Galeem here. Now, I'm going to be pissed if later on it turns out that he was actually lying, but I do feel where he's coming from, because it's not fair how she's acting. Catherine grabbed 2 bottles this time. What would happen if she brought the 2 bottles crashing in front of her? Would the pieces of glass stab her face? Her eyes, maybe? What a random thought. The morbid picture gave her an out-of-body experience. It was a nasty fight, depressingly familiar. But they were dancing to the same tune once again. Here be the lovers. Oh my goodness, what is this? Enter Left, the hothead. Watch her dance with anger blazing. Tears of sparkling bitter rage. The fight goes on until she's spent. The reasons hazy in her head. Pan right, the rake. Both the victim and the accused. Words are poison or an unlit fuse. Migraines taunt his pride and temper. Holy shit, this is so familiar. He grudgingly takes on logic's mantle. The words they throw reach fever pitch. The dance will crest. He'll choose to leave. Enough of this, he says in rage. Temper rising, he exits frame. Her unspent fever burning hot. She cries it off. I would say she cries out makes more sense, but whatever. That cowardly sod. What did you expect? She asked herself. He'll take abuse with a bowed head. The least he could do, her anger shouts. A hint of guilt, a hint of doubt. The migraine throbs as he is pacing. Annoyed and angered, his face afflushed. Capricious woman, irrational. He shakes his head with a tired breath. Yet he basks in torture and savors the taste. I'm not sure about that, because again, I've been through this, and I mean, let's be honest, couples are going to fight, I'm not knocking the couples that but the couples that hardly ever fight, if at all, but it is normal, because you're talking about 2 different people, 2 different personalities, sometimes very different personalities, and, things are going to come up, and you're going to have disagreements, hopefully not as capricious as this one, but, and at the end of the day, sometimes you are able to see through the conflict and realize that you still do love this person. There are cases, though, when if all you do is fight, or all, the other person brings you is stress and sadness and whatnot, then you have to question, is it love? Him, he seems to think it is. And again, I don't know how much time has passed between the end of the last episode and now. Has it been a few months, a few years? So, maybe it really is. This is love, he nods. This is love, he says. Love and pain go hand in hand. That's kind of true. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. It is painful, yes, but never bland. Yeah, that's true. He nips a morsel and takes a bite. Exquisite, he trembles. A rush. A charge. He feels his heart is struck by love. Decides that it is worth the gripe. A dainty flower he must protect. To watch it bloom until it's ripe. But not right now, he says, still sore. His pride's too hard to swallow whole. Hours pass. He wouldn't call. She forms the words she knows will hurt. She plans to cut and make him bleed. Yet when he arrives, she all but weeps. Why'd you leave? I shouldn't have. Are you angry still? I'm here now, love. Her arms are snug upon his neck. He'll promise to change, to do what's best. For both their sakes, he admits he's wrong. A little lie to complete the song. Yeah, that's another thing too. You know, I know some people, you know, during a disagreement or argument, and one person is clearly wrong and one person is clearly right, and let's say you're the one that's actually right. Sometimes you do have to kind of take the high road, so to speak, and just admit that, you know, you're sorry or you're wrong for something, even though you might necessarily be wrong for it, or it wasn't your fault to begin with, just to keep the peace. I know some people find that that's absurd to do, but sometimes you have to do things like that or make small sacrifices, because you'll be better for it in the long run, you know. Then again, I don't know, because some people, they'll run with that and they'll be like, you know, of course I was right or something, and that, I'll be honest, that irks me a bit. But again, I do have to admit, I admire Galeem for doing that, because it's not easy to admit that you're wrong, especially when you didn't do anything wrong to begin with, or there's no justification for the other person acting or saying what they did, but sometimes you have to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you love. What is this? This is like a play all of a sudden. Just tell me when you're tired of me, or when you find some other pretty thing, you bastard. Catherine slipped back into her brain just as the last sentence left her lips. If you're going to leave me, then just leave. Stop playing me for a fool. This was a new tempo. She dropped the bottles to her side, but did not let go. He noticed the change of song and timed his step accordingly. I have never once thought or treated you like a fool. I love you. I'm never going to leave you. New tears churn and bubble from her eyes. Liar. It was her turn to leave this time, and she did. He was left to perform a solo. Contemplation, regret, penance, a vow of new beginnings forming in his head. Cat? Sorry, that's the wrong voice. Cat? Rosie Wosie. Catherine stumbled into Rose's room that evening, drunk to high heaven. Oh boy. Her half-lidded eyes surveyed Rose's meager space. She let herself fall on the bed, regretting it instantly. The ceiling spun in a waltz of throbbing headaches and acid-laced throats. Bad idea. Catherine stood up and her wobbly legs tripped her. Rosa caught her and sat Kath on her small bed. My goodness, you stink of alcohol. She propped some pillows behind her back and fixed the stray hairs that had littered her face. Thanks, hon, you're a dear. How much have you had, Kat? Catherine counted. Oh boy, that's not good. You gotta count. Catherine counted on her fingers. Never mind. Would you like some water? Nope. Interesting. Huh? I can almost hear liquid sloshing around in my brain when I shake my head. Rosa pursed her lips. Catherine was in no shape to make decisions right now. She stood up to get her something to sober up. But Catherine grabbed Rosa's hand and tugged at it gently. No, you. You sit. Please? Rosa complied. Oh, come on, Catherine. Enough. You're plastered. Catherine revealed a bottle about 3/4 full. Snuck another one from the Gilly Monster's closet. Serves him right for calling me a child. Rosa began to protest. Catherine paid her no mind. Come on, Rosa. When have we ever drunk ourselves to the point of insanity? That does not sound good. And I call you my best friend. Catherine took a huge swig of the bittersweet liquid and offered it to Rosa. Rosa examined it carefully and took a mouthful. Oh, God. She gargled it in her mouth, admiring the sweet and sour flavor of the wine. I've never had anything this rich before. Good, right? It had to be. It's the last bottle. So... Had another fight with Shh. Bad wind follows that name. I am not talking about the egocentric pompadour tonight. We are going to drink. We are going to reminisce. And tomorrow, we'll hate ourselves together. Agreed? Rosa giggled. If you say so. Again, I'm not really fond with drinking, mostly because, not me personally, I've had bad experiences with it, but I've known other people who have gotten themselves ridiculously drunk and it didn't fare well, so that's why I'm a little uneasy seeing Catherine like this. Oh my goodness! Oh, look at these two. They're so red in the face from being drunk, but this is so cute. Alright, last one. Rosa puffed her cheeks in mock disgust. Fine. How do you make holy water? How? Boil the hell out of it. I didn't really get it, but I'm pleased that these two are having a moment right now. Rosa and Catherine were assaulted by fits of hysterical laughter. Catherine felt the muscles of her cheek ache. Yeah, I've actually laughed that hard before. That is so bad. I don't even have the words. Catherine wiped the tears of laughter from her eyes. I've heard that one from one of your suitors. Oh. Somebody's pursuing you, Rosa? Do tell. Sir Adrian. Rosa rolled her eyes. How come I always end up talking to your suitors more than you? I must start charging you a fee. I'll pay it with my gratitude. What is wrong with Sir Adrian anyway? Oh, sire. I keep saying sir. He seems like a nice man. Nice hair, nice teeth, nicely groomed mutton chops. The women laughed. How about Sire Fernando? Yeah, Fernand. He sent you that lovely bouquet of flowers. I'm not interested in a relationship at the moment. Yeah, I hear you, Rosa. At the moment? You don't seem interested ever. I am. Sometimes. It's just hard to connect. This is me. It's just hard to connect to people for me beyond physical. Relationships seem out of the question. Wait, beyond physical? Does that mean you're not a virgin, Rosa? Interesting. You don't have any difficulty with me or that idiot in the upper room. It means you're not incapable. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean physical in that sense either, now that I think about it. It could just mean, well, I don't know. Usually when you use the word physical in that context for a relationship, it usually means that you're sleeping together. Whereas, you know, you could be in a relationship with somebody and it could just be, you know, emotional support. You know, so that's interesting. I guess we're going to find out soon. That is only because you are my closest friends. Well, there must be someone. Oh, yeah, this is going to get awkward now. Oh, you are so picky. If you go on like that, you might end up an old maid. Hey, now, there's nothing really wrong with that. So be it. Yeah, thank you, Rosa. I'd rather take care of your children anyway. I shall be the amazing godmother. Catherine smiled wistfully. I'm not sure I want any. What? Children. Okay, so she's not. I love children, but it's a little scary. Yeah, I hear you, Catherine. Catherine bit her lip. What? Oh. Wow. Yeah, I hear where she's coming from. Like, I kind of feel like this way, in a sense. Not with my mother. My mother, she's good people. But with my father, like, sometimes I'm worried that certain attributes that I've inherited from him are going to surface, if I become a parent. So that's one reason why I'm sort of scared of making that decision, in my life. And then two, just in general, I mean, just the idea of becoming a parent. I mean, I know some people, that's what they want to do, that's what they dream of. They want to become a parent, have a family, have a legacy, so to speak. But it's kind of a scary thing going into it the first time. Even if you, get, I don't know how to explain it. Like, just the idea that you're going to have this small person be completely dependent of you. You're going to have to raise them and build them up emotionally, mentally, depending if you're a spiritual person, spiritually. Like, that's a big responsibility, It's not like you have a pet and you're just feeding and watering and, this is literally a whole nother person. And what you do for them during those first 18 years or 21 years, especially if you're enrolling them into college, that's going to really shape them into, yeah, I get where she's coming from. I totally do. It was such a terrifying possibility, wasn't it? She barely remembered her mother. Her milady has... How do you pronounce that? Milady? Melody? I know what it means, but... Okay, whatever. I'll just say her illness. Her illness had struck as soon as Catherine was born. Oh, that's sad. I think I remember reading that in an earlier episode that she was pretty young when her mother got quote-unquote sick. Oh, that's sad. She had never called Catherine by her name, not even on the day she died. All she knew was that her family struggled with that crisis. Her father, exhausted and depressed, and her sister forced to grow up too fast. Oh, to be a blight to the people you love, how horrible would that be? Catherine? Rosa smiled at her, interrupting her thoughts. You will be a good mother. Your past does not matter. Rosa, that's true. That's actually true. Because some people, they might have the worst of parents and they turn out to be, freaking exemplary adults or people in general. And then the opposite could happen. You could come from a really good family or home and you could wind up becoming like a freaking, nutcase or a serial killer or something. So she is right in that sense. So, yeah. Catherine stared at Rosa, almost enchanted at her ability to know what she was thinking. She really was her best friend, wasn't she? Yes, she is. I wish I had a Rosa in my life. The thought warmed her heart. You really think so? Yes. That the fact that you're so concerned about them before they're even born speaks much of your kindness. Whatever happens, those children will grow up loved. Catherine blushed and changed the subject. Aw. Oh, we're out of booze. We finished it. I'm quite buzzed. Hey, remember the first time we drank? What in the world? Do you mean the party or the potato incident? Of course I mean the potato incident. Oh, how could I forget? Rosa burst out laughing. Is this going to be like a noodle incident where you just drop it in here into the conversation and never bring it up again? Because now I'm curious. What is it with you guys and potatoes? That was hilarious. Winch, stop laughing. I almost went to jail. What the hell? I want to know more about this potato incident now. Goodness, I was so stupid. Rosa laughed again. Amen. Hey, you're supposed to say, no, Catherine, we do dumb things when we're young. I love these two. Catherine, we do some things when we're young. It's about time you learn your lesson. I can't wait to tell your children endless tales of your shenanigans. Oh, this is so sad. Oh, considering what we know happens to Catherine, seeing this little moment between the two of them. Oh, this is so... Oh, my heart. Wench. Catherine grabbed Rosa's waist and attempted to tickle her, but Rosa slipped away laughing. Catherine's stomach lurched and she stopped, her hand still hugging Rosa's waist. The room spun, but it wasn't unpleasant. She felt like being gently rocked in a cradle. She closed her eyes and smiled. She took in Rosa's scent, always smelling slightly like apples. Rosa scratched her head and smoothed her hair. This is nice. Yes. Rosa? Aw, thank you for being with me. Of course. No, I mean... She sat up on the bed. You've been with me all my life. You're my oldest friend. When we first met, I didn't have many friends. You know, I'm actually kind of surprised about that, but then again, considering, her father would have been preoccupied with providing for the family and whatnot, and then who knows, maybe the rumors about her mother followed Catherine in her early childhood, and that alone made it hard for her to make friends, so... That's interesting. I didn't even consider that aspect about her. Because she seemed so outgoing when we first met her. I wouldn't have thought that she would have trouble making friends. I just studied my piano lessons night and day because that's all I ever knew to do. It was all I had. Maybe that's why I begged Papa to let you stay with us. I was so happy. Rosa smiled fondly at the memory. You were there for me, always. Ugh, that sounds disgustingly melodramatic. It is, but you know what? It suits. It's suiting right now. Don't fight it. Don't fight the love. Feel the love. Can you feel the love tonight? You're drunk. I understand. They laughed again. Would you like to hear something worse? What? You changed my life. Yeah, she sure did. Ugh, that is worse. Rosa smiled fondly as she played with Catherine's hair. I'm the lucky one, Catherine. You took me home and treated me like I was family. I wouldn't have known what a real family was without you, Papa Francois, and Emily. Even if Papa Francois always did avoid me, I knew he cared for me like his own. Yes, why is that? That was why I liked him. He was a good man. And you know, Galeen was almost family too. Catherine made a face at the mention of the man. But her eyes softened. I miss my father. Me too. Alright, so it's confirmed he finally did pass on. Sad. There was a pause. Catherine shifted off awkwardly in her skin. Can I tell you a secret? Of course. Galeem and I... Oh, that's the secret? I actually thought that you had, believe it or not. Okay, well, you know, we hadn't had intercourse. Recently? No, I mean, at all. Oh. Rosa cleared her throat. I see. After all these years, wow. Wow, how many years has passed since they actually started dating? Because that's interesting. I mean, I'm not, saying that it's weird or anything. That's actually commendable. Many relationships, couples actually do, get together like that. when they're not married. And again, I'm not really condoning anybody for that. I know me personally, I was brought up in a very conservative household where basically you have to wait until you get married to do that. So such actions were frowned upon. Me personally, I don't look at it that way anymore. And but you know, some people, even if they're not like religious, or I don't want to say well, yeah, I guess you could say conservative. Like, some people just feel like, you know what, I don't want to just give it up for anybody. I want to give it up to the person I'm going to marry or be with for the rest of my life. So it's commendable for those who are still virgins and they haven't done it yet, even if they've been in a relationship for a long time. You know, definitely don't let the other person pressure you. You know, you do it when you're ready, you know, or when you really feel like you could trust yourself with that person. Because that's another thing too when it comes to intimacy, or at least that kind of intimacy. I know everybody pretty much does it. Well, not everybody, but people can do it and they feel like they don't have any, what am I trying to say? Like, regrets for doing it. Like, I know, like, for some girls, when they do it for the first time, you know, it changes them. For some girls, it's painful. It could be a little scary. And, you know, you don't want to do that. And then the person that you gave your virginity to turns out to be a louse. You know, then you're going to feel bad that you just had this really tender, special moment with this person who really didn't care about you. They just wanted another notch in their belt or something, you know? You have to do what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel right and safe. So, I don't feel bad, or I don't, you know, I don't feel like Catherine's being weird about it. Let's put it that way. I don't know how old she is, but, you know, I think that it's okay. Well, wait, after the first time, never again? Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So wait, did they or did they not? Wait, she's saying they never had... I'm confused. What are you talking about, Catherine? Rosa blushed. Her head knitted together images of the two people she considered her friends. Rosa tried to push them away, but all she was able to do was paint the warped fantasies in gossamer and fuzz. So maybe they did other things, like oral or... Because she's saying they never actually did intercourse, but then she's saying after the first time, never again. So she must have did something physically intimate with him. Interesting. She cleared her throat, and I can understand Rosa being very awkward, feeling very awkward about this. This is not really something... I mean, some friends will talk about this sort of thing, but it can still be a little bit awkward, depending. Is that why you have separate rooms, even when we moved here to the chateau? No, that was his idea. He's very peculiar with his sleep. I imagine we'll be keeping the separate bedrooms even when we get married. Again, that's not actually weird. I know my grandparents actually slept in separate bedrooms, primarily because my grandfather snored like a bear. So he had his own room, and my grandmother and I had a room together, so that's not necessarily weird. And then if you think about it, in medieval times, like in certain households, like the lord of the house had his own chambers, and the lady of the house or castle, you know, had her own chambers. Same thing with like kings and queens. Kings had their own chambers, queens had their own chambers. So considering the time period, I don't find it that weird. You know, nowadays, it's like unheard of that a couple would sleep in separate rooms or beds, but sometimes circumstances, you know, call for it. I don't really mind. Well, your wedding is soon, isn't it? Perhaps you're just nervous. Yeah, I think that's probably sparking on this, feeling of anxiety from her, too. No, I don't think it's like that. Recently, we get intimate, but I always stop when things got too sultry. Oh. He gets upset sometimes, but he says it's alright. Well, can you blame him? I mean, you're an attractive lady, and I mean, I'm not saying that he's only interested in you because of your looks. Clearly, what is blossoming between the two of you is because of years of interaction and memories and emotions and stuff. So he does, I do believe, without a doubt, Galeem sincerely loves you. And that's probably part of his frustration because he wants to be able to experience that kind of, moment with you. But, as long as he is okay with it, like, he is going to be a little tense, for lack of a better word, and upset. But as long as he's not forcing you to do stuff that you don't want to do, or forcing himself on you, then, it is alright. Catherine looked down ruefully on her toes. Yes, okay, good. He doesn't push me into it. I should be glad. Exactly, because there are some couples where that happens, married couples. And I don't understand the mentality. Like, some people will reason, like, if a husband, or in some rare instances when a wife forces herself on, the spouse, like, I don't know, to me that is still rape, because the other person doesn't want to do it at that moment in time. Either they don't feel good, or whatever the case may be, they're just not into it, and the other person basically forces themselves onto them. Like, just because you're married doesn't mean that it's okay for you to do that. Like, I know, like, in some old cultures and in other cultures, they talk about, conjugal rights and stuff, but you shouldn't force your mate to mate with you, for lack of a better word. I don't care what anybody says. It has to be consensual both ways. Just because you're married or dating doesn't make it okay for you to do that. Don't you think it's strange? What if I stay like this even after we're married? Well, I mean, people mature differently, Catherine, so one person might be ready right at the go, other people will take some time. You seem to be the latter. I don't understand why. Sometimes I get these doubts, and I wonder why they are there. That's human. That's normal. Yeah, it is to an extent, but if he really does love you, he'll understand that it's not that easy for you. Isn't that unfair for him? I just feel like there's some... Oh, Catherine, no, honey, no. I just feel like there's something wrong with me. Oh. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you. There is nothing wrong with you. But it makes me feel... Oh, man. Catherine is expressing feelings that I had early on in my life when I was at this phase in my life, considering becoming intimate with my significant other. I really... Oh, man. I never expected when I gotta admit, when I first started reading this visual novel, I never expected to get this connected to the characters, Rosa and Catherine especially. Gleam too, to an extent, but the scenarios that are coming up and their thoughts behind the scenarios, I gotta say, this is a pretty good visual novel, for being free. Like, the characters are really fleshed out nicely and whatnot. Sprites look nice. And the few CGs that we had are pretty. Man, this was a treat. I mean, I still expect things to go crazy later in the story, but I'm really pleased that I started this visual novel. This lack of, Oh, you know what? I just forgot that the argument that they had at the start. That's why she's so tense too. What if he's getting it somewhere else? Now that explains why you're being so irrational about him possibly seeing somebody else. Because you're finding it hard to be intimate with him. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. It drives me crazy. And believe me, I want to. Oh, Cat. I just can't. For some reason. Oh, honey, I know where you're coming from. It's okay. Oh, man. See, she's saying everything that I've been thinking. I get this horrible feeling I can't explain. Rosa examined Catherine's face and came to a conclusion. It took me a while to understand sex. The sudden no-nonsense comment surprised Catherine. Rosa went on. Okay, so confirmation, she is not a virgin. I was the same as you. I had always had an adverse feeling for it. Like it's dirty and I should be ashamed for enjoying it. I had always thought love would make sex clean. But that's not how it works. They are two separate things. So just because you don't like sex, it doesn't... Thank you. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you. It doesn't mean you don't love him, Kat. Catherine looked up at her. Why do you even care so much to hurt him? What do you think love is? The warm feeling returned to Catherine's heart. How do you do that? Huh? You always know the right thing to say. Always. Rosa blushed at this, suddenly aware that they were still in a loose tangle of an embrace. Okay, no offense, Rosa, but I'm not buying that you read all that in the book. I'm pretty sure you had to experience this yourself. Not saying that you can't read it from a book, but what you just dropped just now, that knowledge, that's something that you gained from experience. Like, you lived that. I read a lot of smart books lately. She tried to diffuse the situation with a laugh, but Catherine didn't drop her look. Candlelight played pretty shadows on her skin. It illuminated the glint in her eyes, the moist on her lips. Wait, where are we going with this? Rosa felt the warmth of the alcohol rise to her face. Her heartbeat increased steadily. Anyway, maybe you'll feel better about it when you're married. You're probably just nervous about the whole thing. She made attempts to curl away from Catherine's arms. Where are we going with this? Slowly, subtly, run away. Disperse the proximity. But she couldn't run away from her stare. Oh boy. Guys. Catherine's hand caressed Rosa's face. She touched her scars daintily, tracing them with her fingers. Oh God, guys, where are we going with this? You're really pretty, Rosa. Especially when you smile. Thank you, I think. You don't believe me? I don't think I am. I look in the mirror and I see a freak. Rosa, that's not true. It is fine. I'd like to be in a freak. I want it to be ugly. Rosa, no. Oh, honey. Oh, this is painful to hear. Oh, I used to bind my breast and hide in the shabbiest clothes I could find. Rosa touched her eye. This was penance, she remembered herself saying. Okay, so is that why she gouged her eye out in the first episode? Like, she felt like she didn't deserve to be beautiful, so she deliberately disfigured herself so that it would hopefully deter other people from looking at her? Oh, Rosa. Because, yeah, when the series started off, she was being pursued by women who attacked her because their husbands were looking at Rosa with favor. So, oh, honey. For being a sinner and a freak. Now, she's saying being a sinner, so did she actually sleep with any of them? I mean, I do feel like she did, but something. I gotta find out. I gotta find out more about your backstory, Rosa. I'm very interested now. For attracting attention and spite. For dressing nicely. Oh. For letting her hair grow long. But really, I kind of figured that. I did this to myself. To hide. To hide? Rose's mouth quivered. I thought people... Oh, I was right. Don't touch ugly things. But the truth is they do. So what I'd rather be is invisible. Oh, honey. Catherine wrapped her arms around Rose's neck. She heard Catherine sniff and wipe tears behind her embrace. Oh, God, no. Oh, I can't even. Oh, God. Hold on a minute, guys. I need tissue. Oh. I can't even. Okay. Alright, I'm good. She pushed Rose's hair away and kissed her defective eye. You're not a freak, and you're not ugly. I love every part of you. They're all beautiful. Rosa forgot how close they were now, forgetting Catherine's hands on her own. Here was somebody who accepted her, with all her faults and ugliness. You always made me feel like I am worth something. Oh, man. Because you are. You're beautiful, Rosa, inside and out. Rosa saw her face reflected in Catherine's eyes. In them, she did indeed look beautiful. A lump formed in Rosa's throat. Catherine's face hovered above her cheek. She planted a little seed of a kiss on it, just barely away from her lips. Rosa kissed her nose in return. It made Catherine giggle. Uh-oh. At first the kisses were sweet, innocent. The kind of punch-drunk kisses that sent them both into bouts of giggling. But Catherine's hand caressed her neck. The kisses lingered. Lips melded. Hands explored. And Rosa sucked on Catherine's tongue inside her mouth. Wine. Candle wax. Spit. Okay, why did it taste like candle wax? That's weird. That was what it tasted like. Rosa's head began to swoon. Catherine's hands... Oh my God, here we go, guys. Here we go. Catherine's hand squeezed her right breast. Tripe. Grapes. Plush. Rosa began to taste more of her. Longing. Regrets. Tears. Why is the music creepy now? A sensational flavor she had never tasted before hovered at the edge of her tongue. Suddenly, she was hungry for it. Okay, now I'm scared. I don't like red means scary. I don't like what I'm seeing here. And the fact, oh, I'm scared now. Like, it went from being a very tender moment to being, oh dear, what is about to happen, guys? What is about to happen? I'm so scared. Hold me.